time to set the record straight on Trey Lance. Let's do this.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, man. So first off, I don't think Mac Jones is going to be the pick at number 3.
I don't think anyone. I don't think so either.
Cool. I think that you can't trade 3 first-round picks and take a guy that's physically limited like Mac Jones. So that's kind of off the table. But let's talk about Trey Lance for a second here. Okay. I think that drafting Trey Lance ultimately would be a big mistake for the 49ers. Okay. So first off, let's talk about what everybody says, okay, as far as keeping Jimmy Garoppolo and having Trey Lance develop. I think that that's a bit of a pipe dream. You're assuming that Jimmy is going to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. So if, history repeats itself, which is bound to, he's going to be thrust into action very early on in his career. And that could be devastating to his development because this is a guy, as much as I respect what everybody says and the evaluation as far as his athletic upside and everything he brings to the table from that athletic standpoint, I just don't, he's definitely going to need time to develop. Just think about this though, 288 pass attempts in college, 19 games played in college, 10 in high school. That's it.
10 in high school?
10 in high school.
What was he doing? He wrestling?
I don't know. He's doing something, playing basketball. I think he was a basketball player.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's an athletic guy. So, it's not like he was just, playing video games on the couch or something, So he's a hell of an athlete. So, one thing it's kind of interesting here is that his QB coach, right? I don't know. We all saw that thing. If you haven't seen it on Last Second Sports, go check it out. That was a really awesome interview. And they're doing some really cool stuff over there. So check them out. But they were asking him, what's the difference between in your evaluation between Justin Fields and Trey Lance? Because he coached them both up in the pre-draft process. And one thing that he said about Trey Lance that was so interesting was that, and I'm paraphrasing, so forgive me, is that he feel like he benefited the most from practice and development, not games played. And it kind of, to me, what I take away from that is where he's at in his overall development. He's not necessarily ready to be playing in an actual game. He needs to work on his mechanics.
Yes.
And I think that the stats actually support that as well.
Because when you go back in a game, all of a sudden you revert back to your original mechanics. And what he needs to do is break those habits.
Exactly. He needs to break those habits. He needs more reps on the practice field under less pressure. Because once bullets start flying, you revert. You don't rise to the occasion. You revert.
And here's the thing. Training. Here's the thing. You usually revert. The whole trying to change your mechanics thing is very difficult. Colin Kaepernick tried. It's tough. It's hard.
It's true. And everyone wants,
but it's hard.
Exactly. And that's a really good point that you make, Grant, because, everyone wants to compare him to Josh Allen. Well, Josh Allen was inaccurate in college, and look at him now. That's an outlier.
Yeah.
That's an exception to the rule. That's not the rule. That all these guys can then come into the NFL at a higher level of competition and then just develop and become more accurate. It can happen, but it's very difficult. So check this out. Nearly 56% of Trey Lance's passes over 10 yards were accurate. I'm sorry, that was a Justin Fields stat. So let's see, Lance. Lance is accurate and throws past the line of scrimmage only 44.1% of the time. He is the worst of all prospects being drafted right now.
His accuracy is a real big issue.
It's worse by 7.5%, and that's per Pro Football Focus. And that's not past 10 yards like this other field stat that I had in the bank. It's past the line of scrimmage.
Ooh.
So we're throwing lots of screens. We're throwing lots of things like that. Gimme throws. But so that's a concern. And so when we're talking about his needing to be developed with his mechanics and that inaccuracy, you see where the problem is.
Yeah.
So the issue, once again, getting back to where we started, bringing it full circle, is that if you're going to thrust this guy into action anytime early, it's going to be a disaster. This is going to be a real problem for the 49ers.
Yes.
And
they don't have a sturdy enough bridge quarterback to guarantee that he can't play. Unless they're saying, look, if Jimmy doesn't play this year, we're going to go with Nate Sudfeld. We're not.
Or Josh Rosen.
We're just not going to play Trey Lance. But you can't trade up for a guy who is totally non-functional in year 1 and maybe even year 2.
Exactly.
The Niners aren't on that timeline.
Exactly.
The Lions are on that timeline.
You got to look at what they did in free agency. They signed all these veteran guys, a lot of guys either 30 or above in age, to 2 to 3 year deals, or even longer in some cases, but they get very expensive after 3 years. They're in win now mode. They're trying to get to a Super Bowl, in the next within the next couple of years here. And Trey Lance, it's debatable on whether or not he's going to be ready in 2022, not 2021. Do
you follow the Warriors at all? I know you're a SoCal guy. Are you familiar with them at all? The Warriors?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, they were a dynasty. They backslid last year. Curry got hurt. They got this lottery pick, and what did they do? They drafted a 19-year-old center who is not on the same timeline as Draymond Green and Steph Curry. And now the Warriors have this conundrum, like, are we building for the 32-year-olds on our team or the 19-year-old on our team? And they don't match up, and they got to figure that out. The Niners, if they draft Trey Lance, it's like the Warriors drafting Wiseman. It's like, okay, well, he's intriguing, but how does that help? How does that help what you just built, what you have already? It doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
I'm having a little technical difficulty here.
Okay.
The studio is coming apart on me here, Grant.
Your studio improves every week.
Oh, I'm in the backyard now.
So, nice.
Yeah, we're
originally it was you on your phone. Now you got the microphone. You got it all. You're great.
Yeah, we're stepping up. I'm JV. I'm trying to work my way into varsity.
Oh, you're definitely varsity now. Absolutely.
Okay. We're working on it here. I'm a redshirt freshman.
So hold on, I got to take a couple more calls because we're at 11:04. But you made a compelling case as to why the Niners just can't take Trey Lance, and I agree with it. It doesn't match up with their timeline. Who do you think they will and should take at 3?
I think if available, they should take Justin Fields.
Okay.
I think that he would be the best
quarterback right now
available. I like that. Actually, we were saying that he wasn't accurate. Well, let me just replay the stat that I let out of the bag.
His numbers are terrific. Yeah.
Look, nearly 56% of his passes over 10 plus yards are accurate, and that's behind only Joe Burrow and Mac Jones. So he's actually a very accurate passer, and and on top of that, this whole where he can't get to the second read is also what's actually inaccurate, is that he can't get to a second read. He's going to need to develop as well, but if you have a guy that you're looking to potentially play next year at any point in the game, then Lance would not be a good option for them. So that's who I would go with.
Hey, well, hell of a call, Jeff. Thank you so much for all your preparation. It's a nice backdrop. I wish I could match it. It's fantastic.
Hey, man. Right on,
Good
dude.
stuff, dude. All right, and take care.
SoCal.